Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy Season 2 continues from where we left off in Season 1, where now, honestly, the opening of this is pretty solid because it introduces us to the two heroes that have been drawn to the world outside of our main character. And we get to learn about them and their motivations. One of them is just like, honestly, a relatively good person who's just like a popular girl. And the other one is this model with some like emotional problems. Really, he isn't that bad when he first comes to the world. And he is sort of like this like innocent guy who's unaware of his own abilities, who's it got a bit of a, like a sort of inflated ego. But he is given a sort of ability that like mind controls people. And the thing about that is that you can see as the story continues, his newfound abilities are actually starting to sort of cause a decay in his mental state, because he's definitely gone from not that bad of a guy to slowly becoming a fucking redo of healer-esque fucking villain. Like, I don't think he's a villain yet, but he is definitely on the path, and I do think that there's an interesting divergence. A lot of isekai series would have both heroes kind of suck, but it does seem like they're at least making the like popular girl female hero like an actual hero, even if she is inferior to our main character. Whereas the guy is clearly going villain route, and that's fine. Interestingly, he's actually getting manipulated by the sort of like kingdom that he is a part of, which seems to be like delving into his knowledge of the modern worlds to sort of try and create the development of firearms, which is sort of interesting. So there's a bit of a political intrigue underlining throughout the entire series of this season that's actually really strong, especially when we get into Kuzunoha, the trading company founded by the main character, trying to move into the Merchants Guild, and then the conflicts from higher-ranking Merchants Guilds not being satisfied with the way that Kuzunoha is doing business. There's also a plot about this where the main character ends up becoming a teacher at the magic school because Tsukimichi is determined to be every isekai at the same time. And so he ends up taking under his wing a bunch of students. That plot doesn't go anywhere because those plots sort of rarely do. I mean, there might be some lead into like some world building. There was an interesting emotional arc for one of the students at the school at the start of it. But yeah, so the very strong opening to this season. And I really did appreciate it, sort of taking a step away from the main character and delving into the political intrigue. Where I think it actually took a step backward was actually toward the end, where we re-meet the enemies that were encountered at the ends of Season 1. And basically, it does that thing where the characters are so overpowered that all of the problems in the entire series are just solved. So they ended up with an issue with the Merchants Guild, and that gets solved because the main character ends up helping out the Merchants Guild, and they needed a place to operate their business, and that ends because their army is so strong they instantly overrun the demon army, and then they were having issues with, of course, the like Dragon Slayer and the dragon that almost killed him in the last season, and this time they just fucking beast mode him. And like the craziest thing is, it looks like they were going to spare these characters and set them up as antagonists going forward, and there is a hint that maybe the Dragon Slayer might still be relevant, but I feel sort of like they kind of killed off everyone. And so where Tsukimichi ends up with is it's managing to set itself apart by being every isekai as sort of becoming its own thing by performing competently. But I see towards the end of the season, it is starting to fall into the trappings of a lot of other series where the characters are officially becoming so overpowered that all of the problems are solving themselves, and it becomes impossible to create an actual functional narrative anymore. And I hope that Tsukimichi hits the brakes on this, because I have seen this time and again with so many other series, and it's not too late to hit the brakes, but it is getting there. So I'm definitely on board for Season 3, but I have to say that I do think that despite Season 2 being pretty good, Season 3 is on a troubling, hard-to-correct course. Twitch and Discord in the description. I've been Sacrobolic, your envoy of hope. Bye-bye!